Guys, at my office right here, the prophetic analyst. Welcome back to our weekly market forecast of the week of the 5th to the 9th. Happy new month once again, and welcome to the month of May. So without further ado, let's dive into the business of the day. So you guys know I predict 500 to 1,000 pips into the future, and we trade from zones to zones. Okay, so moving forward for this week, okay, so we can see BTC. Okay, you guys know I'm very big on BTC. BTC has given us the most of the wins, okay, just like way back from down here, in which I predicted BTC bullishness all the way from the 74k back to the 95k, which is where we are currently having price right now. Okay, so I love trading BTC just in as much like I love trading gold, okay, because of its volatility that is going to help you to make money or also lose money at the same time. But we have our greatest wins in which we have are always from the BTC or the gold trades. Okay, so moving forward for this week, okay, we can see BTC is very important. We look at the weekly time frame, how last week closed. Okay, we have to look at how last week closed, and then we can ascertain what we are looking for the coming weeks. Okay, so for last week, guys, we can see last week closed with a massive bullish candle right about there. Let me reduce this. A massive bullish candle right about there. So this is actually the current week. Okay, so today in which we are making this video, the weekly candle here is yet to close, so anything could still happen. But from the way of the look of things, which we still have few hours to market open for this week, okay, for BTC, because the BTC market does not close on Friday, just like the currency pairs. Okay, so it doesn't close that way, so it closes on Sunday. Okay, so we still have this current week's candle, and the previous week candle was bullish, and here the current week candle here we see it looks like more like a doji candle. Okay, and where is this happening from? It's happening from a previous resistance area, okay, previous areas of interest. Okay, so we will go back to our hourly time frame to look for the best possible areas in which we can take trade calls from. Okay, so for this week, actually I'll be more bearish than bullish. Okay, so we will be looking for a sell to buy scenarios, guys. Okay, we are looking at price coming back as deep as our 92k again. Okay, as deep as the 92k, and if price could be as crazy as going back to filling in this imbalance, looking at the left hand side, okay, filling in, and if price wishes to fill in that imbalance, we may be seeing price going back to the 98k. But like I always say, we trade from zones to zones, so our first level target is our 92k, then we could go to 90 to 91k area. Okay, but mind you, we are currently on a trade on Bitcoin, which I'm going to add it somewhere around in this video. Signals have been sent since Saturday. Okay, so we have been swinging these trade sales right about here. Okay, we have our trading confirmations. If you are my mentee, you know why we are taking these sales right about here, and we are very good. We are in a nice 1:1 right now. Okay, you guys can see we are in a nice 1:1. So we are still expecting more drops. Okay, we are looking at a 1:3 trades, and as you guys know me, when I take out my 80 to 90%, I could still be swinging it to the 92k, which will give us a 1:5, 1:6. Ideally on my flipping account, I'm actually targeting a 1:5 or a 1:6 on this trade, but on my conservative account, I'm going for a 1:2, 1:3 on this particular trade. And as you guys can see, we are currently on a nice 1:1 currently on this trade, and we are on massive profits. Okay, so if you want to get this kind of signals, please do well to click on the link on the description to join our free Telegram community. Signals were also being sent, and a lot of people are already swimming in good profit. Okay, so moving forward, for the next pair is gold. Okay, so let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so for last week, okay, we had these upper zones and this lower zone. So the thing is, most of last week, all right, was price was mostly in the range in like 80 to 90% of the pace. Okay, they were most likely in a range, even though you would think you were trading in a certain direction unless you are a scalper. But if you were a swing trader, I think it would be difficult to have trade calls at that last week, because and if you don't like trading ranges, I myself, I like trading ranges though, but I like trading the breakout of ranges, not the ranges itself. Okay, so last week has been very choppy. Okay, so gold has been ranging as for last week, but we were able to take some nice sales somewhere around here, and on NFP, all right, which I'm going to add it somewhere around this video. So I think we only took gold and Euro USD for last week. I did not trade much, and I only traded them due to NFP on same Friday on NFP time. Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick money because I understood the directional bias, and I just had to make some cool cash for myself. Okay, so looking at, let's see how last week actually closed for gold. Okay, so last week actually closed with this doji candle, a reversal candle pattern, like you guys can see. And if you guys remember last week video, I stated that price, this kind of candles are significant candles, or candles that signifies bearishness, especially due to the time frame and where you're seeing them. Okay, for the case of gold, we don't, if you are looking left, okay, we won't see a previous high in which we can use as resistance, so it makes things slightly difficult for us to determine. Okay, but with the help of candles like this, okay, it will help us to know that, okay, most likely price is ready to be bearish. So that's why we had more bearishness on gold as for last week. I would have entered from the upsides, but actually I just wanted to have the best of entries all the way from here when price cleared here. But unfortunately that happened on Friday. Okay, on Friday during CPI, and I just had to take just that, okay, just the trade and just close it during CPI, because I do not wish to hold the trade throughout the weekend. Okay, so moving forward, so nothing much, same thing that we had last week. Okay, I'll extend this like so. So most likely you could, if price opens, but I would like you to, or we should wait to see what price will do somewhere around, let me take this out, okay, somewhere around these zones. Okay, if market opens or comes back to this area, you can take your sales. Okay, you can take your sales, put your stop loss anywhere you feel comfortable, or the new high, and our target should be the 3140 ounce, okay, all the way to the downsides. But I think gold could even go deeper, but let's target one level to the other. Okay, so we should be looking for a 3150 psychological area. Okay, 3150 somewhere around here, 3150 psychological area. So all right, so you can just place it at the 3150 psychological area. So I would actually be favoring the downsides for gold for the coming weeks. Okay, up next is Euro USD. For Euro USD, last week, just like I told you guys, okay, last week we were looking for some good candle confirmations. Last week closed with this massive bearish candle that pinned by a doji candle. Okay, so this also signifies bearishness. Okay, and like I always say, price moves in a wave, okay, not in a straight line. So most likely price has been on a push phase. Okay, price has been on the push phase since the beginning of this year, right about 20th of this year till the 21st, okay, of April. Okay, so price has been on a bullishness, so we should be seeing price giving us more like some pullbacks, at least maybe to our 1.10698, which is where you have this line right about there, or we could even go deeper. Okay, but like I always say, we trade from zones to zones. Okay, so we should be expecting some sales to buy scenarios, but let's look at our hourly time frame to see what we can make out of this. Okay, so here on the hourly time frame, just like I said for last week, I said price has been ranging, guys. Price has been ranging last week. Okay, so we just had this little bearishness, which I would have, since it was still below these two zones, I wasn't interested in taking any trades right about here. Okay, so I was most likely not going to take any trade last week. And one thing you guys should know about trading is you don't have to force trades. Okay, you have to trade what you see and not what you think. Okay, price has to play out before you react. Okay, so I was only able to take send out trade call during NFP, I think an hour to NFP. I sent out these cells on Euro USD, okay, which I'm going to add it somewhere around in this video. So Euro USD is looking all very bearish and very nice. Okay, if you also look deep inside here and you follow us the longest of time, you see that price is creating a very nice chart pattern right about there, which is a head and shoulders. Okay, and you guys know the entries confirmations for our head and shoulders. So price has most likely broken that neckline. Okay, so what you should be looking for the coming weeks is a re-entry out of these zones. Okay, so we should be expecting price. I won't be giving guys bullishness sides, okay, only the bearishness. Price has already given us that break, that retest. All right, let me do this again. All right, so price has already given us that break, that retest. So we are looking for a push to the downside. So looking left, let's see where is our nearest zones, guys. Wow, this is a massive drop on Euro USD, guys. So just make sure you mark this out on your phone or your PC. Okay, this is a massive drop, and that would be, let's see, okay, let's see, over 260 pips plus drop on Euro USD. So like I always say, we predict 500 to 1,000 pips into the future, and between these 260 pips you can add positions in between them. Okay, like myself, I could not just making just 200, I could make like 4 times of this or 3 times of this just from one trade call. Okay, so this looks like a very good trade, like a trade that you can take like right about now or right about market open. Okay, you can just put your stops on this other week. Okay, you can just put your stops there or put your stops right about here. Okay, maybe a 30 pips to 40 pips stops is fine, and you target your 1:2, 1:3, but our overall target we are looking at a 1:5, which is the 1.10791, which is all the way down here. Okay, so guys, make sure you mark this out on your phone, your trading device. Okay, up next is GBP USD. For GBP USD, we can see how price like I said last week was more like in the range, guys. Okay, so all of this is a range. All right, even though a range strategy, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you guys bearish sides, guys, and price looks very awesome right about here. Price looks very awesome. Okay, so we should be looking for price to clear these zones, retest, or then a push continuation to 1.30471. okay, let's check how many pips drop is that. Also around 45 to 50, 245 to 250 pips drop too. We are also expecting on GBP USD. Just like I said, this trade also looks like a very good trade for the bearishness, because if you look deep inside here, price is creating another a lower time frame head and shoulders, a mini head and shoulders inside here, so you can use that to your advantage too. So it's also good if you wish to want to take the sales like right about there. Put a stop loss on this week's, okay, on that week's right about there, and you can target a 1:2, or you can go all the way down there, which will give you 1:3.8 or 1:4 all the way down there. Okay, so that's it for GBP USD. Up next is the DXY. See the DXY for last week, we had our upper zones and our lower zones. Like I said, price has been ranging, okay, last week. So Mr. DXY, okay, is the reason why we did not have so much moves concerning last week, except this little move. Okay, but that move was still between these two zones, which I'm not interested, or I wasn't interested. Not like I couldn't buy from here, okay, or sell from the other side. upsides or the other related pairs. Okay, but I just had to let price clear the zone so that we could be sure of what we are doing. Okay, so DXY looks really good right about now. Okay, no gimmicks. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is to extend this like so, and also extend this. All right, you see, that's why it's good to draw key levels. Okay, the key levels that I took all the way from here are still very much valid. You can see how price also respected this key level that I drew from last week and bouncing off there again before we had that bullishness to the upsides. Okay, so for the coming weeks, okay, we already have the break. That is still the retest, but price went a little bit deeper here. Very fine. So you would be targeting our first levels, which is 100.534. Then we could be going as deep as 102.903 to the upsides. Okay, and mind you, just like I said on the other Euro USD and GBP USD, this is also a chart pattern. Okay, so if this chart pattern plays out, guys, okay, which price has broken and price continues bullish, then we should be having a massive bullishness on the dollar. Okay, and you know what this means. Okay, correlated pace would also be bullish, and inversely correlated pace would also will do the opposite, which is bearish. Okay, so that's why next week or the coming week looks like a very juicy and good trading week for us. Okay, and these are the things that we also teach on our mentorship, which our registration is currently on right now on our main mentorship. So if you're interested, you can get your registrations for the main mentorship. I think we have 2 slots left. You can make yourself available, and we're giving it out at a discount price too. Okay, so moving forward, up next is our USDCHF. USDCHF for last week, we had the upper zones and here, so price also broke retest, but just price did its thing. So we could be looking for price to continue. Let me extend this like so. Okay, so even though, like, for me, due to the candlestick confirmations I'm seeing right now here, which is this pin bar, okay, I can just put my stops on that pin bar, below that pin bar, right about there like so. Okay, and target our phase zones, which is here. A nice 1:2, and you can go for a 1:5, which is all the way up there on the 1.85914. okay, so I'll be actually favoring the bullish sides for USDCHF. So do well to mark this out on your phone, your PC, or your trading device. Up next is USDJPY. Last week I had to go to my lower time frames. I think the hourly time frame or the minutes time frame to mark out these 2 zones for you guys. Okay, so you guys can see price actually respected the downside to an extent before starting being bullish. Okay, so that also makes sense. Okay, so we are still looking for the bullish continuation, just like I said on the DXY. You know, the DXY is directly correlated to the USDJPY and USDCHF. Okay, so if we are looking for bullishness on the DXY, we should be seeing same on the JPY, the USDJPY and USDCHF. So this is what we should be getting for next week. Okay, you can have your stops on just right about below this week's, and you should be targeting the next level of your 148.138. okay, so what you actually have to do when price comes to these zones, are you using your own entry signals, okay, on confirmations? Except you're my mentee and you know our actual entry confirmations, you can use them, or even with the pure knowledge of what we are doing, okay, you can just use your usual break and retest. Okay, but what we use for our entries are more than just break and retest. Okay, we only show this on our mentorship, then you know more of our trading confirmations in which we use to take in our trade. So that will be it for this week, guys, and I hope you have a good trading week ahead. And always remember to trade your plan your trades and trade your plan, and also drop a comment on the comment section. Smash that like button if you are still watching to this very moment, and wishing you a profitable trading week and a profitable trading month ahead. See you guys next week. Cheers.